Hi, I'm Joey, and I'm going to report about project management, Chapter 2, Conceptualizing and Initializing the IT Project. Here we are going to have the following learning objectives. 1. Define what a methodology is and describe the role it serves in IT projects. Identify the phases and infrastructure that makes up the IT project methodology. Develop and apply the concept of a project's measurable organizational value. Describe and be able to prepare a business case. Distinguish between financial models and scoring models. Describe the project selection process as well as the balanced scorecard approach. Methodology. It is a strategic level plan for managing and controlling IT projects, a template for initiating, planning, and developing an information systems. It recommends the following: phases, deliverables, processes, tools, knowledge areas. Must be flexible and include best practices learned from experiences over time. Here is the diagram of an IT project methodology. It contains the following phases. Phase 1, conceptualize and initialize. It is where you are going to plan your project methodology. It is where you are going to conceptualize an IT project and initialize the project. Phase 2. Develop the project charter and detailed project plan defined in terms of projects, scope, schedule, budget, quality objectives. Phase 3. Execute and control the project using approach such as the SDLC or System Development Lifecycle. Phase 4. Close the project. Phase 5. Evaluate project success by means of the following: post-mortem by project manager and team of entire project, evaluation of team members by project managers, outside evaluation of project leader, and team members. Evaluate project's organizational value. IT Project Management Foundation. Project management processes are the following: initiating processes, planning processes, executing processes, controlling processes, and closing processes. Infrastructure. It has the organizational infrastructure. Project infrastructures like the following: project environment, roles and responsibilities of team members, processes and controls, and also technical infrastructure. Business case is an analysis of an organizational value, feasibility, costs, benefits, and risk of the project plan. The attributes of a good business case must details all possible impacts, costs, benefits. Clearly compares alternatives. Objectively includes all pertinent information. Systematic in terms of summarizing findings. Here are the processes for developing the business case. Step 1. You must select the core team. The advantages for selecting the core team must be the credibility, alignment with organizational goals, access to real cost, ownership, agreement, bridge building. Step 2. Define measurable organizational value or MOV. It should be the project's overall goal. The MOB must be the project's goal. Measure of success must be measurable, provides value to the organization, must be agreed upon, must be verifiable at the end of the project, guides the project throughout its life cycle, should align with the organization's strategy and goals. Here are the processes for developing the MOV. 1. Identify the desired area of impact. It must be the following potential area: strategic, penetration of new markets, transformation of the terms of competition within the market, increased market share. Customer. Customers have more choices of products or services, must receive better products or services. Transaction processes are more effective or efficient. Financial. It must increase profit and increase margins. Operational. Lower costs due to streamlined operation, increased operational effectiveness, improvements to supply chain. Social. Education, health, safety, and environment. Number 2. In process for developing the MOV. Identify the desired value of the IT project. It must be the following organizational value. Must be better, faster, cheaper, or do more. Number 3. Develop an appropriate metric. Should it increase or decrease? Metrics, money, percentage, numeric values. Number 4. Set a time frame for achieving the MOV. When will the MOV be achieved? Number 5. Verify and get agreement from the project stakeholders. Project manager and team can only guide the process. 6. Summarize the MOV in a clear, concise statement or table. The summary of an MOV must answer what will make the project successful. Developing the business case. Step 3. Identify alternatives. Best case alternatives. Possible alternative strategies like change existing process without investing in IT. Adopt or adapt systems from other organizational areas. Re-engineer existing systems. Purchase off-the-shelf applications package and custom-build new solution. Step 4. Define feasibility and assess risk. Must be economic feasibility, technical feasibility, organizational feasibility, and other feasibilities. Risk focused on identification, assessment, and response. Step 5. Define total cost of ownership, direct or upfront costs, outgoing costs, and indirect costs. Step 6. Define total business of ownership, increasing high-value work, improving accuracy and efficiency, improving decision-making, improving customer service. Step 7. Analyze alternatives using financial models and scoring models. It must compute payback. The payback is equivalent to initial investment over net cash flows. For example, you have 100,000 as initial investment and your net cash flow is 20,000, meaning you are going to have a payback after 5 years. Break even. For example, if you sell a golf putter for $30 and it costs $25 to make, you have a profit margin of $5. Break-even point is equivalent to initial investment over net profit margin. For example, you have an initial investment of 100,000, you are going to have a net profit margin of $5. It means you need 20,000 units for you to get your initial investment. Return on investment. The return on investment or ROI must be equivalent to total expected benefits minus total expected cost over total expected costs. Step 8 in developing the business case. Propose and support the recommendation. Here is a business case template example. It must have a cover page where you are going to put your title and subtitle, author and address, date. It must have an executive summary where you are going to put a brief description of the problem or opportunity, a brief description of organizational goal and strategy, a brief description of project's MOV and how it is ties to the organizational goal and strategy, brief description of each option or alternative analyzed, brief explanation of which alternative is being recommended and why. Introduction. It must be the background, the current situation, the description of the problem or the opportunity. It must have the project's measurable organizational value, or how achieving the project's MOB will support organizational goal and strategy. It must have the objectives of writing this business case. Alternatives. Alternatives must have the descriptions of all alternatives. Analysis of alternatives. It must contain the methodology of how alternatives will be analyzed, like data collection methods. Metrics used and explanation why they are relevant. Presentation of results that compares each alternative. It must have the metrics, sensitivity analysis, risks, assumptions. Proposed recommendation and the required funding and support. For project selections and approval, there are the IT project selection process. The IT project selection decision must map to organizational goals. The project must provide verifiable MOV. Selection should be based on diverse measures such as tangible and intangible costs and benefits, various levels throughout the organization. The balanced scorecard approach. Here are the reasons why the balanced scorecard approach might fail. Non-financial variables incorrectly identified as primary drivers, metrics not properly defined, goals for improvements negotiated not based on requirements, no systematic way to map high-level goals, reliance on trial and error as methodology, no quantitative linkage between non-financial and expected financial results. Balanced scorecard approach. Financial perspective. It must answer how do we look to our stakeholders or to those who provide funding to us. Customer perspective, it answers how do we look to our customers and other stakeholders. Internal processes perspective, what internal processes must we excel in order to attract and retain our customers and other key stakeholders? Innovation and learning perspective, it must answer how do we keep getting better. Hope you learned something about project management. That is all. Thank you.